Okay, so what are we doing here today? Today, the old Bosch PS50. It's been a pretty decent little machine. I gotta say, I definitely got my money's worth out of it. It's a Bosch PS50, and I'm retiring it today, the 10th of this month of June. So what did I get? Where did I put it? So I was checking out different things to get, and I bought the Ridgid Jobmax, and I was tempted to stick with the Bosch. The Bosch was a couple $100 for a corded one. I want an AC one. Let's take a look. This was $100, right? $99 for this, and it comes with a case supposedly and some blades. We'll open it up here in a second. Take a look. This one, like I said, I think this was like 170 or 180. No, actually, I think this one was $200. This one was $199. I take it back. $199. The Makita was $170, and the Makita was nice. They weigh quite. They're a couple pounds. I think this one weighs in at 2.5 pounds, and I think the Makita is a little bit heavier. It just felt a little bit heavier. But for $100, let's take a look. What's the model number on this thing? Ridgid Jobmax is what they call it. Oh, the R28600. Okay. But I wanted something with a cord. I don't care about running an extension cord. So, see, now, that's good. This is going to already make me happy because that takes up, look at how much space that's going to take up in my job box in my truck. Look at the difference. That already makes me happy. Not that I'm bashing on Bosch. It's just a little light duty for what I do. Let's take a look. Let's see what we have in the old Ridgid bag. Oh, the instructions. And there are two. This is freaking cool, man. There are pros and cons on the Ridgid. This guy here. The one thing that's nice about the Bosch is not this particular one, but the new Bosches of this style, this type of saw, is along the lines of the Fane Multi-Master. You don't need a tool to change your blades on this. The Makita needs a tool. The Ridgid needs a tool. You just use an Allen wrench. What's kind of neat about this thing, the Jobmax. Hey, look at that. Somebody's texting me. The nice thing about this, I guess if you're into it, is that this control head comes off. Oh yeah, look. And they give you an extra coupler. If you remember the PS50 repair videos I did on this, I ended up molding one of these myself. So they give you a spare. I'm assuming that's good or not. Maybe that means they wear out. But this one has a removable head. Now, there's two different things you can do here. You can move it in 4 positions depending on what you're doing and how you're cutting, which is pretty cool. Or you can buy different control heads for work heads on this. This one has a real nice. I got big hands, and I don't like these little wimpy little tools. Oh boy, that feels nice. That feels nice. We've got a triangular sander. We got one of these wood and metal Ridgid blades. Wood and metal, not wood and metal. Wood and metal. And my favorite are these little guys right here. This is for wood and drywall. These guys work really cool. And some various sanding, 120 grit, 60 grit, 80, 80, and 80. That's pretty sweet. Got an extra little coupler doodad there. Here's the little adapter chingus here that you can put it on, so you can use any other of the competitors' blades. Wow, that's nice. Oh, so let me plug it in. I'll show you. There were 2 things that really sold me on the Ridgid, and right here. And I'll tell you. I'll show you. And I didn't see this on any of the other tools. The Makita, well, they have these things called soft starts where you flip a switch and it doesn't just come blasting to life, it comes slow to start. But they don't have variable triggers. And this one has a variable speed from 0 to 20,000 oscillations per minute, right? OSM. And they're all pretty much standard, 3 amp motors, 20,000 OSM, but they don't have variable control. Now, sometimes when you're using, they sell blades like these that have like an embedded material in here to cut out grout. sometimes you don't want to hit that thing at full bore. They seem to remove the material better if you hit it at a slower speed. And this one has this. The Bosch has a dial that you can dial back the speed. So variable speed sold me, and check this out. Yeah, baby, a headlight. And I know that's goofy, and I know it's kind of, and I know that's goofy, but I have a headlight on my DeWalt impact driver, and it's very cool. It actually comes in very, very handy. Very, very handy. That's 2 varies. So let's put a blade in this thing and cut some stuff and see what happens. Sounds a little rattly, quite honestly. I guess the good thing is it has a sealed bearing here. Feels totally replaceable. Feels kind of nice. That's pretty cool. Just sounds tinny. Did I do something wrong? Hold on, maybe I should have read the instructions. Well, if it's gonna be broken, I'm gonna break it. So I'm gonna give her. See what my $100 bought me here in the next few days. Smells like a power tool. Use her quite a bit here. I'm doing crown molding tomorrow, so I'll give you guys an update. We'll keep her. I wonder if they cover that warranty if I drop it doing that, being a donkey. I'll give it a good couple days of work here. I'll let you guys know how it goes. So I told myself what would make this evaluation video better than actually finishing up this video with my actual experience with this machine. Not just my initial impressions and unboxing, but actually when I was gonna hope to get just a couple hours on the machine and upload the video with the addendum that we're doing now, but it's apparently been a few months and a bunch of hours on this old Ridgid tool. By now I probably have, I was trying to think, I've got no less than 12 or 13 hours on this machine. Just trying to look back on the jobs I did, and when I say 12 or 13 hours, I mean actual run time. I don't mean just with it in my hand or yeah, I got 13 hours in on this job, but actually with this tool in my hand and actually doing it. So let's, and it may even be higher than that. I think 12 or 13 is pretty conservative, but I think that's a pretty good amount of time on this machine to show you guys what it looks like now and my impressions. So my initial impression is the bag. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this bag. I love the fact that it's small. It really is very convenient by comparison to a hard case. However, it does nothing for organization. Now, let me show you. This is useless. Now, look at the elasticity on this is junk. So anything you put in here is not going to stay in here. So it's forget it. I mean, don't even try, or don't even expect. So other than that, though, it's nice because it really does house itself pretty compact, and it's nice in my job box. It does well. So this machine, like I said, 12, 13 hours. I've cut everything. Drywall. I've cut wood with it. I have dug out grout with it, which is really cool. I don't know that I have the grout blade in here right now. I usually do. There it is. The grout blade. This is actually a Bosch grout blade. I don't know that Ridgid makes a grout blade, but it doesn't matter. They're all kind of the same, and they seem to work out all right. So my feelings with this is that it is worth every penny of the $99, and I'm still going to stand by my initial claim that I really have no interest in buying any of the other bolt-on attachments. I did not purchase this device, trying to get a drill or a jigsaw, an all-in-one. I'm not a big fan of hybrid tools because they don't typically work well in either direction. But this one seems to work really well as a multi-saw. And the head still fits really tight on here. This thing did fall off a ladder. It was a good 6 or 7 foot fall. It was an 8-foot ladder, and it was on a rung, and I kicked it off, and it fell on its head, of course, on a tile floor. And I thought I would have broken it, but it did all right. It didn't change any sounds in it. It does really well. The other blade's loose. The little rubber coupler here is just starting to show enough wear to where so you can just see a little bit of metal. I don't know if you guys can see that. Probably not, but it's kind of at the point now where it could probably be replaced. Probably, but that's why it comes with new little rubber tips. I don't know. I'm going to leave it in there until it gets kind of noisy, because I imagine it's going to be metal on metal, and it should be very apparent when that thing wears out. But it works. It still works really well. I'm very happy with it. The headlight, I hate to admit, but the headlight's really cool. It's very, very handy when you're cutting trim, to have just a little extra light on the subject. I don't really count cutting drywall because you can pretty much cut drywall with a butter knife. So I'm not even going to evaluate cutting drywall with it, but it cuts really well in thick stuff like 2x4s. I had to notch a bunch of 2x4s to get some old work boxes in a wall. And it did well. It didn't get hot. It works well. The trigger finger is decent. The one thing I don't like about this is that there's no trigger lock. And I don't know if I mentioned that in the first one, but likely I didn't, because it usually takes a little bit of working with something to realize what you do and don't like. But I don't like the fact that there isn't a trigger lock, because you don't always have your hand in this position. Sometimes you want to two-hand it. Sometimes you want to get some extra control when you're doing fine cutting, but you can't do that. You can't do that with that. So that's kind of a bummer. That's a little bummer, but I can work around that. I do like the fact that it's a 2-finger trigger. It reduces fatigue. This has a pretty heavy spring on its trigger, and sometimes single-finger triggers are fatiguing after a while, after you get into your cut. But you can get 2 fingers on this thing, and it seems to work well. Replaceable bushings are nice. It does have some dust in it. As you see, I have my tools to work my tools, and overall I'm very satisfied. And okay, so the bummer is no pin to lock the trigger on. That's a bummer, and I'm still bummed out that I don't have a toolless chuck to change the blade. I know the fine tools have the ability to change the blade without a wrench, and quite honestly, I've already lost the Allen wrench that came with it, so I had to go in my collection of crappy Allen wrenches so I could have a throwdown wrench in here. So it would be nice. It would be nice if they developed a way to hold the blades in without having to use a tool. So there you go. There's my honest evaluation of what I think of the old Ridgid Jobmax. I think it's well worth it. It's worth the 99 bucks. And here's a quick tip before I let you go. I've got a couple of these little bitty files that I keep in here. I happen to have these in my inventory, and I also used them in the previous the Bosch saw that I had before this one. But you can find these at Harbor Freight for a couple bucks. They sell these small file sets. But what you do is, if you're as frugal as I am about keeping materials costs as low as I possibly can, and if you're like me and you use everything up until it's absolutely unusable for its original intended purpose, and then of course you take that and set that in a bucket somewhere and you'll use it for something else down the road. But you take these little files and you run them across the teeth just to get your edge back on there, and it literally takes 30 seconds, if that. 2 or 3 passes per tooth, and you go across the thing, tick, 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 in the morning before you use it, and you get a nice sharp blade, and it saves you. You can see this blade here has some hours on it, but it's still sharp. It still holds a good cutting edge on it, because like I said, I come and I dress up the teeth. I dress up the teeth before I use it every time, and save your money. Save your money. Save these things from going in the landfill. All right, I gotta go. See ya. I really gotta go. See ya.